Some of you may remember that Daniel was cast out of his Aunt Mary's home after a series of events which included rappings and flying furniture that upset his auntie to no end. She cast him out after 18 years, having adopted him from her own sister and taking him to America from Scotland. Daniel's mother was to follow him and live in Waterford, Connecticut. He was graced on occasion with visits from her when she was alive. But Daniel's alienation and lonely existence became more apparent after the death of his only friend, and then his mother. When Daniel was asked to leave his Aunt Mary's home, he resided with a widow in the family. There he was to learn to channel these spirits which haunted him.
So, dear, who will we try today? The sailors from the sea wreck, or perhaps the young mother?
Well, to be honest, Auntie, I was hoping we might try Mother again. I am sure she wants to tell me something, but has not been able to reach me.
Yes, dear. Let's try her. You go ahead. I just need to do something. I will be back very soon. You go ahead and begin without me,
Okay, Auntie. I will try Mother. She is the only one who never speaks. I can hear the others clear as day, but not her.
Well, good things take time, son. Be patient. There is tea on the table if you want any. Be back soon.
Always rap. It is sure to do my head in. I wish to hear you, and whatever it is you have to say. Others say you are the devil, but I know that is not true. You seem to have a longing to contact me, and I am here to listen. Please speak to me. Mother, I know it is you. You were always rapping like the time you told me 3 for the days from your death. I do listen to you, Mother. I do know it is you. Mother!
Daniel, fear not, my child. God is with you, and who shall be against you? Seek to do good, be truthful and truth-loving, and you will prosper, my child. Yours is a glorious mission. You will convince the infidel, cure the sick, and console the weeping.
Oh, Mother, I am so glad you have arrived and presented yourself to me. I have waited so long to hear your words. I was so confused by all this, but now I understand my purpose. It will hopefully ease Aunt Mary's mind when I tell her it was you.
I am afraid, dear, she may never understand. She has her beliefs and will never accept my return from the dead, no matter what I do. I tried for months to reach her, but because she refused to believe it was me, I was unable to speak to her. I don't want to ever go back there. It was much too disappointing for me to try for so long and become the laughing stock of the neighborhood. I could not do that to her again, ever. As I told you, it is your gift to speak to me and the others. Never stop. We all need someone like you to reach the ones we love. And I never wanted to leave you again, Daniel. Never. I feel so bad to have given you up. I was afraid I could not take care of you. You were such a needy, frail baby. You know, 3 of your siblings died and I could not bear it. I was afraid to ever take you back. I love you, Daniel. I must go now, but I am always with you. Always.
I remember it well. I have not forgotten it, and I can never forget it while reason and life shall last.
This concludes the first scene of the second act of Wizard of the North. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will just please follow me into the Little Shine Theater. Off to my left, your right, and we'll carry with the second scene from the theater, or the second scene from the show. This particular building was the first construction for the theater, and as I understand it, it only took a matter of, 15 minutes to make it. Well, believe it or not, while Daniel was making real contact with his mother's spirit, two women, Margaret and Kate Fox, had announced a new religion in Rochester, New York.
Modern spiritualism. Yes, that's what we'll call it. It's a peculiar face, so we must give it a peculiar name.
Yes, and we will call such meetings with the dead seances. It's the one place that both the faithful Catholic and the non-religious person will sit together to communicate with the dead.
It was a real eye-opener and became very popular. Modern spiritualist mediums were popping up everywhere. That is what they called themselves. Our friend Daniel was also a medium, but he was an honest one, not out for money or fame. Daniel is what we call a sensitive vehicle through which conversation with the dead takes place. Unfortunately, as Elizabeth suspected, Aunt Mary did not take to the idea very well, and Daniel was never allowed back into her home. And as for his great-auntie, well, she was a bit frightened to have reached her husband. She thought she was rid of him for good, so she asked Daniel to leave. At least, that is the rumor, for he never did return to her home, but began his life's journey as a medium to the rich and famous, going from house to home and never once accepting a penny for his deeds. Daniel became famous in his own right and became accustomed to the lifestyle quite quickly. He did not have much of a choice, for he was thrown into it with great enthusiasm from even the toughest skeptics. Article after article in all of the top newspapers praised his ability to bring visitors from the afterlife into home after home. Tables would lift, sentences would be spelled out in raps, and instruments would be played. It was like a formula that others tried desperately to mimic and failed dismally. Only Daniel's seances were the real deal, so they say. So everyone in high places wanted Daniel for their experience. That concludes the second scene from the second act of Wizard of the North. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you will come with me, we will move into the main theater where the rest of the production will take place. Thank you.
It is now March 1851, and Daniel has moved on to bigger and better estates. The journalists all want to write about the amazing feats that Daniel performs with his spirits. Daniel does not embrace his stardom very well just yet and is vulnerable to the vultures he is about to meet. Journalist W.R. Hayden and his beautiful wife have much bigger plans in store than what meets the eye. They were taking advantage of Daniel and his kind, fragile heart. Take a look.
Daniel, how good of you to come tonight to share your talents with me and my distinguished guests.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Hayden, sir. It is my sincerest pleasure to be in your stunning home with your beautiful wife, Mrs. Hayden, and your friend. But please, sir, I ask that you do not mention me in your paper. I'm not interested in publicity.
William, darling, have you offered Daniel an absinthe? We have the finest distillery on the market, all the way from the London distributors.
Where are my manners? Daniel, would you like a drink?
Oh, no thank you, sir. I never drink before a seance. It does not agree well with the afterlife and my frail disposition.
Oh, you poor dear. Come here, Daniel. I
want to know everything about your work. I have such a longing to become more acquainted with this spiritualism practice. It fascinates me to no end. You sit there on the chaise lounge, and I will sit on this beautiful sofa, which I inherited from my grandmother. So, Daniel, how exactly do you hold a seance? What are the particulars? I'm so curious to know all about it.
Well, Mrs. Hayden, firstly, I do not actually call it a seance myself. For me, it is a communication with the dead, and it is very simple. Anyone can perform a seance because the afterlife is real, but it can be very dangerous if you do not know what you are doing or who exactly you want to bring back from the dead. You must first be very specific. Everyone must sit in a circle for it to work properly. If the circle's open, then strange and bad things can happen. It is not necessary to close your eyes, but having a clear mind is rather important.
I see.
The spiritual world may reach you in many different ways, but the most common is through raps. This can sometimes be the only way they can reach you. Then, if you have a good medium, like myself in the room, they will do things to reach us, like move furniture or play musical instruments, sometimes break things, move things, and make things come out of place, and not always during the gathering. Once you open that portal, it is very important to close it as well. Never leave a ghost encounter open-ended. It could cause illness and other terrible events to follow.
So, Daniel, dear, do you think I could hold my own seances then?
Well, Mrs. Hayden, I would suggest that you do not try it without someone like myself present. It is a very dangerous practice.
Well, if it's so dangerous, then why does someone like you do it?
I did not choose to do this as a profession, ma'am. It chose me. My mother told me after she died that I have a gift and must use it.
A gift? Very interesting. Excuse me for one moment, dear. Dear, take note. It is a gift. What a great way to sell it.
Of course, dear.
So, my dear Daniel, could we move to the dining room and do one of these magical events? You have me so very intrigued. And, well, I would love to experience such a taboo event.
Yes, of course, Mrs. Hayden. Is there someone special in your life that you have lost?
No, dear. No one dear to me has died, but I may get you to resurrect my evil sister.
What? I am afraid that will be a grave mistake, Mrs. Hayden, especially if you did not get along.
Why? Can she hurt me?
Why, yes, of course you can. It is a very dangerous business, as I've expressed to you previously. I do not wish this practice on anyone. It chose me, remember?
Well, she does not know I thought she was evil. We were very little.
The spirits know more than we think, and could already be haunting you, or stay and haunt you if you bring them out from the dead.
Oh, you do intrigue me to no end, Daniel. Please, let us retire to the dining room.
Following this seance, not myself, but another journalist from the Evening Post wrote a stunning article about Daniel. The table was moved repeatedly and in direction that we asked to have it. All the circle, the medium included, had their hands flat upon the table, and we looked several times under the table while it was in the most rapid motion, and saw that no legs or feet had any agency in the movement. The table was a large and heavy one without casters, and could not be moved by myself in the same manner with all my exertion. At one time, too, the table was moved without the medium's hands or feet touching it at all. At our request, the table was turned over into our lap. The table was moved, too, while I was trying to hold it still. Most remarkable event.